All right, so we're diving into, well, a whole sack of IMDb reviews for Klaus.
Yeah.
The 2019 animated Christmas movie on Netflix.
Right.
You might be thinking like, oh, another Christmas movie.
Right.
But
Oh, yeah.
trust me on this one.
Definitely.
This one's got people talking.
It really does. Yeah.
And, we're going beyond just, thumbs up or thumbs down.
Yeah.
Or,
Is it good? Is it bad?
is it good or bad?
Yeah.
We're going deep. Like, what are viewers saying about the animation,
Right.
about the characters, the story, all of it. So, like, what were the overall first impressions? I mean, I was really surprised. Overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah. Very positive.
A lot of people calling Klaus like a new Christmas classic.
Yeah, I saw that a lot.
Praising the story,
Uh-huh.
the heartwarming story, the animation style.
Yeah.
Oh, and this like fresh take on the Santa Claus origin story.
It's really interesting
It's sick.
how they did that.
It really is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it seems like Klaus really like captured that classic Christmas movie magic.
I think so. Yeah.
That feeling,
Yeah.
and a lot of the reviewers pointed to that. Like, it's so original.
Yeah.
And it stands out from like the typical holiday fare,
Right. Yeah, you see a lot of the same old thing.
Same old, yeah. And this is like a new perspective on the Santa Claus mythos.
Yeah.
Now, the animation style, like, really seems to have struck a chord with people.
Yeah.
Like, they were using words like beautiful, unique, gorgeous.
And it is gorgeous.
It is gorgeous to describe it. And a lot of people were talking about the blend of 2D and 3D.
Right.
Like they blended that hand-drawn animation with 3D.
Yeah. And I think that's what like makes it really special.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you're watching like a storybook come to life. But it still has like a modern feel to it.
Yeah. Yeah, you get the charm of like those old Christmas specials.
Right.
But like with a modern edge.
Exactly.
But, we're not just here for the pretty pictures.
Yeah.
We got to talk about the story itself.
Yeah, of course.
Like, does it actually, live up to the hype?
Well, I mean, based on what I read, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying it's very heartwarming.
Uh-huh.
I actually saw a few people say that they cried.
Oh, wow.
During the film.
Yeah.
One review said, I haven't felt this good after watching a movie. I feel good about myself. I am not kidding. I actually cried during and after the credit rolled.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful. I mean,
Yes.
for a movie to have that kind of impact.
Yeah.
To make someone feel that way.
That emotional depth.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the characters.
Yeah.
Because you need, good characters
Of course.
to make a good story.
Right.
You can't just have a good story without good characters.
It all comes together.
It does, yeah.
And it was really interesting to see how people reacted to the characters in Klaus.
Uh-huh.
One reviewer compared the main character, Jesper, to Cusco
Yeah.
from The Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, wow.
Now, that's a comparison.
That's an interesting comparison.
I was not expecting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Cusco,
Right.
in that movie, he's kind of like a spoiled brat.
Yeah, at the beginning.
At the beginning, yeah.
At the beginning, yeah. Is Jesper kind of similar?
Well, the reviewer said that he does kind of start off like that, but he, like, becomes his own person as the film progresses.
Okay, so he's not just like a copy.
No, he's not a copy.
He's got his own arc.
Exactly, yeah.
That's good.
He changes. He grows as a character.
All right, well, that's good to hear.
Yeah. But what about, like, the other characters?
Yeah.
Did they,
Did they get as much love?
get as much love? Yeah.
Well,
From the viewers.
not everyone was as happy with them.
Okay.
Some people felt like they were underdeveloped.
Okay.
One reviewer specifically talked about Alva,
Uh-huh.
the school teacher,
Okay.
and they said she was just like a generic love interest.
Oh, yeah. That's like the age-old critique.
Yeah, you see that a
You
lot.
see that a lot. It's like
Yeah.
they just throw in
A female character just to be...
a female character to be the love interest.
Yeah, basically.
But she doesn't have much depth.
Right, exactly.
And that's always disappointing.
Yeah.
So we talked about Disney comparisons a little bit, but some reviewers like really went deep
Oh, yeah,
on that.
they did.
And some even said that Klaus is better than recent Disney films.
Yeah, a lot of people felt very strongly about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like specifically in terms of quality and originality.
Right, right.
So what were they like? Why were they saying that?
Well, a lot of them just, like, they wanted to see something new.
Okay.
They feel like Disney is just doing a bunch of remakes and sequels.
Okay.
And they're tired of it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you see that a lot.
You do, yeah.
These
I
days.
love reboots, yeah.
And one reviewer said that Disney could learn a thing or two from Klaus.
I saw that one.
And
they said
they contrasted like the originality of Klaus with Disney's like tendency to just reinvent, and I'm quoting here, 30-year-old cartoons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Shots fired.
That's a pretty direct hit.
Yeah.
I mean, so it sounds like Klaus really like scratched that itch. I think so. For an original story. Yeah. But, yeah.
We got to talk about, we can't just focus on the positives.
The negatives.
Right. What didn't people like about Klaus?
Right. Well, some people...
That's not all the reviews.
Not all of them were positive.
Well, we're positive, right? So,
right. I did see a couple that said they thought the humor was a bit predictable.
Okay.
And they even said that some of the characters were annoying.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we were just talking about how much people loved the characters.
I know.
So I guess it's like,
humor is subjective.
Humor is subjective.
Yeah.
What one person thinks is hilarious, another person is like, I can't stand this.
Yeah, exactly.
And, when you're trying to make a movie for, like, everyone, you're not going to please everybody.
Nope.
So, yeah, I guess some people thought the humor was stale, but other people might have, like, been laughing along the whole time.
Exactly.
So we've got a film that people are praising for its originality, the animation, the emotional impact.
Right.
But then we've got these critiques about the humor.
Yeah.
Are there any other, like, key takeaways that we can get from these reviews?
Well, one thing that I saw a lot was
a
lot of emphasis on, like, kindness and generosity.
Okay.
One reviewer highlighted a quote from the film.
Oh, cool.
It was a true selfless act always sparks another's.
Oh, wow. That's good.
And they said it was like a message about how doing good deeds like has a ripple effect.
Right. Like put good out into the world, you get good back.
Exactly. And it seemed like a lot of people really liked that.
That's that's a really great quote. Yeah. And like it really captures the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, it does.
And it sounds like the theme of kindness is just kind of woven throughout the film.
Yeah, it's like the overarching theme of the whole movie.
And that's like, that's what sticks with people.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive. We've talked about the animation. We've talked about the characters. The story, even the humor.
Yeah. It's a lot to take.
It's a lot. And we've seen that Klaus is a film that's like...
It really gets people talking.
It gets people talking.
Yeah.
People have strong reactions to it, both positive and negative.
It does. But there's still more to unpack.
There's so much more to unpack.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be back soon to delve even deeper into these viewer reactions and just see, like, what else we can uncover about this, really interesting, intriguing...
Very interesting film.
Holiday film.
Yeah. Welcome back to our deep dive into all things Klaus.
Yeah, we're picking up right where we left off, exploring all these viewer reactions.
Yeah, and we've got a lot more to go over, especially when it comes to those Disney comparisons.
Yeah, it's not every day that you see a non-Disney animated film generating this much buzz.
Yeah.
Especially like a Christmas movie.
Especially a Christmas movie, yeah.
Yeah. And some people are even putting Klaus above recent Disney releases.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And one review I thought was really interesting.
Okay.
They praised Klaus for having, and I quote, a solid original story, awesome visual style, and great writing.
Wow, that's high praise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they went on to say that, like, Disney could learn a thing or two from Klaus.
I saw that.
Yeah. And
bold statement.
It is a bold statement.
Yeah.
But they, like, contrasted the originality of Klaus with what they saw as Disney just reinventing.
Just remaking.
Yeah. And I'm quoting again, 30-year-old cartoons.
Yeah, they're not wrong.
No, I mean, you see that a lot these days.
You do, yeah.
So, yeah, I think, like, Klaus really gave...
what they wanted.
What they wanted, yeah, something new.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the emotional side of things.
Okay.
We touched on it earlier.
A little bit, yeah.
But a lot of people were saying that they cried during Klaus.
Yeah, it's a real tearjerker.
Yeah, and one reviewer, I thought they put it perfectly.
What'd you say?
They said, I haven't felt this good after watching a movie. I feel good about myself. I am not kidding. I actually cried during and after the credit rolled.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
And it really just shows you the power of film to really, like, connect with people.
Yeah, to connect with you on that deep emotional level.
And to just like stay with you even after the movie's over.
Exactly.
So what do you think it is about Klaus that makes it so impactful?
Well, a lot of people were talking about the themes.
Okay.
You know, like kindness and generosity.
Okay.
It's like that heartwarming message.
Yeah.
Really resonated with them.
Yeah, and especially around the holidays.
Right, exactly.
People are thinking about giving and being kind to each other.
Yeah, and Klaus really drives that home.
Yeah, but
not everything's perfect.
Not everything's perfect.
Okay.
Some people, even though they enjoyed the film overall, they did have some critiques.
Oh yeah, of course.
For example, one review I saw said that the pacing was a bit slow in the second act.
Yeah.
And they also thought the ending was a bit abrupt.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
yeah, I could see that.
Pacing and resolution are so important.
Oh, it's
storytelling.
Yeah.
And I think it just shows that even if a film is, like, well-received,
right,
there are going to be things that don't work for everyone.
Exactly. And it's important to hear those critiques.
Yes, absolutely.
Because it gives you a more well-rounded perspective.
Yeah, because not everyone's going to have the same experience.
Nope, not at all.
And another criticism that came up, and this is, I think, a really important one, is the lack of diversity.
Oh, yeah.
And one reviewer, they really enjoyed the film, but they pointed out that it might not resonate as much with viewers who don't identify with, like, that Western European.
Yeah, that very European aesthetic.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And I think that's something that all filmmakers should really be thinking about is making sure that their stories are inclusive.
Yeah, representing
everybody.
Right.
Because everyone should be able to see themselves.
Right, see themselves in the film.
In the stories that they're watching.
Right.
So, even films that are successful, like Klaus.
Right.
There's always room for improvement.
Yeah, always room to grow.
Now, let's go back to the visuals for a second. We talked about the blend of 2D and 3D.
Right.
But, like, what specifically did people like about it?
Well,
about the animation style?
A lot of people said they were just captivated by it.
Okay.
By how unique it was.
Yeah.
One person described the setting as endearingly strange.
Okay.
They really liked how the filmmakers created this world that felt familiar, but also, like, kind of fantastical.
Yeah, it's like stepping into a Christmas card that's been, like, beautifully illustrated.
Yeah, they.
And even though some people thought the characters weren't that developed, other people thought they were really relatable and endearing.
Yeah.
And one reviewer talked about the relatively well-realized characters.
Okay.
And they praised how complex they were and how they changed throughout the film.
Yeah, their growth.
Yeah, and they really appreciated that even the, like, supporting characters had depth and motivation.
Yeah, they weren't just there. They had their own, like, backstories and stuff.
It's those little details, that really make a film great.
Exactly.
So we've talked about the praise, the critiques, the different observations that people had about Klaus.
Yeah.
We talked about those Disney comparisons, how it makes people feel.
The emotions.
The emotions, yeah. The animation. But there's one more question that we need to address.
Okay.
Before we, wrap up this deep dive.
All right, what is it?
So does Klaus have what it takes to be, like, a true holiday classic?
I mean, that's the big question, right? We've seen it's really resonated with a lot of people.
Yeah.
But will it stand the test of time?
Right.
Who knows?
It really makes you think about, like, what makes a holiday movie a classic? Is it, like, the message?
Yeah.
The characters? The visuals?
Could be all of it.
Maybe it's, like, a combination?
Probably, yeah.
But one thing that kept coming up in the reviews was originality.
Yeah, people want something new.
Yeah, like, they're tired of the same old stuff. And Klaus is, like, a fresh take on a familiar story. So maybe that's the key. And then there's, like, the emotional impact.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying they were really moved.
Yeah, like brought to tears.
By that message of, selflessness and spreading kindness.
Right.
It's powerful.
Yeah, and I think those moments, like those tearjerker moments, really stay with you.
They do.
And make the movie more memorable.
For sure.
But we can't forget about, the people who didn't love everything.
Of course not.
About Klaus.
You gotta look at both sides.
Yeah, like, some people thought the humor wasn't great.
Yeah, some people didn't like the jokes.
And some people wanted more character development.
Yeah, especially for Ovid.
Right.
The school teacher.
And it's important to, like, consider those perspectives.
Absolutely.
Because it gives you a more complete picture of the film. It's like when you're talking about a book with a friend.
Okay.
And you love a certain character.
Yeah.
but they just, like, can't stand that character.
Right.
It's those differences
Yeah.
that make the conversation more interesting.
Absolutely.
So, everyone's going to have a different reaction to
Okay.
Klaus.
For sure.
So as we're wrapping up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what do you think are, like, the main takeaways?
Well, I think it's clear that Klaus is a film that has sparked a lot of discussion.
Mm-hmm.
People are talking about the originality, the animation, how it made them feel.
Yeah.
It's definitely a movie that tries to warm your heart.
Yeah, it aims for the heartstrings.
Yeah, and it seems like for a lot of people it succeeds.
But it's not perfect.
No film is.
Right, and the criticisms
Yeah.
actually can help us understand the film better.
Exactly, yeah.
So will Klaus become a holiday classic?
I don't know.
Only time will tell.
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, but it definitely has the potential,
Oh, it
at
definitely
least on, like, what we've seen.
Based on these reviews, yeah.
People really connect with it.
They do.
And I think that's the great thing about these deep dives.
Yeah.
You get to explore all these different reactions, consider the good and the bad.
Right.
And then, like, ultimately, it's up to the listener to decide.
To form their own opinion.
Yeah, like, what resonates with them.
Exactly.
So, if you're listening and you haven't seen Klaus,
Yeah.
check it out.
Give it a watch.
See what you think.
And if you have seen it,
Yeah.
maybe this will give you some new things to think about.
Yeah, maybe you'll see it in a whole new light.
Exactly.
So that's all for this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time. See you later.